2020 where I had like spinal meningitis. I had already been in a coma for better part of going on 10 weeks. They woke me up to tell me that I had less than a 10% chance of surviving.
Hello and welcome to all new episode of Incredible Stories when we talk about your path of life. A popular podcast on YouTube, previously on radio show, now worldwide via internet. And now, today, another impeccable story with my guest, Robert Maxwell. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning. How are you, Ed?
It is a gorgeous weather here in Wisconsin.
We're enjoying.
And we are surrounded by beautiful pine trees, what I call a queen of trees. It's actually very interesting how the pine trees are responsible for the like a nervous system of Earth. There is I should put a whole episode about that, but that's aside. Okay, and now we're going to talk about all the fun stuff a little bit later because we are in a fun place here. We are located actually in front of Deershaven Acres, right?
Deerhaven Acres.
Deerhaven Acres.
In Adams, Wisconsin.
In Adams, Wisconsin. We're going to talk about this place because it's absolutely gorgeous and spectacular. But first, I'd like to touch on Robert's story. Robert, could you tell me a little bit about your life? In the year of 2000, you had an accident and suddenly you woke up on the bed, which you thought would be your deathbed.
Yeah, that was 2020, actually.
Oh, that was 2020.
2020, where I had like spinal meningitis. And I had already been in a coma for better part of going on 10 weeks. And they woke me up to tell me that I had less than a 10% chance of surviving. And inadvertently, I had to get my things together, which I did. I ended up selling my business of 43 years. And
what were you doing at this time?
Now it's just Deerhaven and.
But before then?
Oh, that was custom production grinding in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, and we started that in 1979 with my father, and I purchased out my father in 1989. And took the business on myself, which was very successful. So
how many people you had working for you?
About at that time, 39 people.
Okay.
And they were paid on merit, which was very good for them and the company.
And when you heard this, it sounded like a sentence, right, from the doctor.
Yes.
It was only 10% surviving chance.
Correct.
What did you feel at this time?
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't have fear of dying, but I had to think of the people that had taken care of me with the business and life. Because I grew to be very good friends and to be... I needed to make them whole as well as myself prior to leaving this world. So what I did was I had an investment group that had been trying to buy me for years. I contacted them, and literally on my deathbed, I sold the business, which is still carried on today and doing well.
So first thought was to sell the business to take care of the people who are working for you, because what would have happened if you were not sold, if the business was not sold and you passed out?
Well, I had asked the employees first to do an ESOP, which is an employee stock ownership program, and basically they were afraid. So I went on to the investment group, which had purchased it, and I owed them a solid foundation moving forward. Because they gave me the solid foundation, and you're only as good as your people.
Yes.
And they always treated me like a king, and I treated them as well.
They called you many names, yeah? You're the Bob of many names, right?
Bob of many names. They when I pulled into the parking lot, and the first person that saw me, I was the shark. Sharks in the water.
Okay.
Yep.
And tell me, let's come to this unfortunate event. How did you survive, actually? Because you had only 10% chance. There was like no way of survival. So how did you manage to survive?
Lots of prayer.
Lots of prayer.
Lots of prayer.
Yours or your family's?
All. I don't believe there was many times that I was awake that I was not praying to survive. And
You wanted to live.
absolutely. I'm a young man.
And you thought your time is not over yet.
Yep, exactly.
Were there other events in your life that you thought you would not survive, but you did through prayer?
Never like this.
Never like this.
No.
But you did had other accident with your neck.
Broke my neck in 2006. I deviated my spinal cord by 68%. But that was not quite life-threatening, but I could have been paralyzed.
And you said your fingers, you do not feel fully.
Yeah, I don't have the I don't have the feeling or
in the tips of your fingers, right?
yes, yeah.
So you couldn't play piano now.
No.
No.
or guitar.
Yeah, or guitar. Yeah.
So
Talking about spirituality, what does faith mean to you?
faith without it would be tragic, because the Lord is our Savior, and only Him could bring me out of this. And had I known, again, like I said, I wasn't afraid of dying, but I was afraid of what I would leave behind as possibly a mess. So I took and I prayed to the Lord, along with others, of course. And He saved me. He saved me. You know, I'm one of the doctor with what they call
Statistics?
no infectious disease doctor.
Okay, infectious disease doctor.
She said in her 33 years of
Practice?
practice that I'm the only person that has been able to get off of the medications that would keep me from getting the disease back.
Wow.
And I'm 100% off of everything. No pain pills, no
No other regulating medicine.
No medications at all.
No medications at all.
And usually with this disease, you take them for your whole life after it's found.
Yeah, to the rest of life. And I was always wondering, prior I was taking care of, I was very interested in natural healing and herbal medicines. And I was always curious, why would someone take a medicine for the rest of his life for, let's say, a blood pressure or a sugar or whatever it is? Because isn't it supposed to cure you so you are back to normal? And, it just appears that our healthcare system is designed this way. So once you take pills, you just take more and more of them to the rest of your life.
Yeah, you continue on them like they're part of life. And fortunately, I was one of, I don't know how many thousand patients she had, but I proved myself that I could get off of them. Now, for 18 months after getting out of the hospital, I had to go for infusions, and I had a port that went right to my heart. And at 7 o'clock in the morning and 7 o'clock at night, they had to infuse this medicine to me. And then it was actually in the latter part of 2002 that they actually stopped that, and I was able to stop taking the oral medication as well.
Amazing. And you believe it's solely because you prayed and you believed?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I believe that the man upstairs is strongest in the world.
What's your relationship with God, with Jesus? How does it look like? How do you define this relationship?
I define it as very, very close. I don't fear him.
Okay.
I love him. And he's very much a part of my life throughout the day, through every week, through every month.
You had a very interesting situation when you ran out of gas in the middle of the highway. Tell us what happened.
Oh, that was something. I ran out of gas, or I was actually fuel because I have a diesel truck. And I called roadside assistance, and this was on a stormy winter day. And I'm on I-39, and I called the roadside assistance. They came. They put a gallon of fuel in there, and I pressed the button to start the truck, and it wouldn't start. And it wouldn't start. And it wouldn't start.
But the roadside assistant already left.
Yes, they were gone, and now the state trooper that was behind me had left also. So here I am alone.
Yeah.
And I prayed to the Lord to please help me out with the situation, because I thought I was going to have to call a tow truck and this and that. And as soon as I got done with that prayer, I pressed the button, because I have a key fob, and the newer trucks, or you just press a button. The truck started. And I got to the next exit to get gas. And if that is not strong, I don't know how to tell you that it's not. It's very, very strong.
It's interesting because once your truck or your car run out of gas, it uses the power from the battery for a while, and it runs out the battery. So then you have to have help of a jumper to start the car again, and then, well, basically your prayer jumped out the car.
Exactly. It was like that.
Yeah, it was like that. And actually, I can relate to this story because me and my wife and our son was only about 2 years old. was sleeping in the car. It was the middle of the night, and we love Wisconsin. We're going to Wisconsin. We just have finished our show. We're on our way to Wisconsin, and we are in the middle of the road. And I was going to stop for some gas, and I passed one exit, and I'm looking to get to another exit, and all of a sudden we stopped, okay? And I see that the main battery is getting low. I pulled over, and what do, right? What should we do? So we called the same roadside assistance. Well, the state trooper couldn't be there until an hour later. That's what they told us. And I don't know. I had some tools on the back of my car. It was also my working truck. So I picked this pressure washer, turned it over to trying to get some gas to some plastic container that we found, and I poured it over. It evaporated by the time it got to the tank, so there was nothing there. And I decided maybe I'll push the car, the whole van, so we can get to 8 miles to the next exit. No, it didn't work out that way. And my wife, she prayed. And she prayed so strongly, because I'm a guy, I'm just all freak out. I was just trying to figure this out on my own, okay? And my wife, she prayed. And she went with her cell phone wave like this. And it's like a 1 or 2 p.m., a.m. It's the middle of the night. And there is no one on the highway. There's very little cars. And all of a sudden, I'm pulling this truck. I'm pushing this truck. And the car backs out, you know. And these people, it was a couple, looking like Arabic couple, from somewhere from there. And they said, "Oh, do you need help?" Yes, we do. And this guy took me over, drove me to the nearest exit. We took some gas. We bought jumper cables. And we're on our way back. By the time we're back, the state trooper already is behind my car. My wife, my baby sleeping. And we poured the gas, but of course it didn't start. And you know, what's interesting, the state trooper can help us get help and get gas, but he cannot help us by law to start the car. And it appears that this guy is a mechanic. The guy that helped me was a mechanic.
Oh,
and he helped me start the car with the jumpers, and we're on our way. So I'm saying, "Hey, how much I owe?" He said, "Absolutely nothing." "Hey, are you on the way to Dell's?" And we're on the same way. And I was trying to thank them, invite them for dinner or lunch next day. I wrote his phone number down. I still have it in my wallet, but I cannot find the guy. The people disappeared. They vanished. My wife believes it was angels. You know? Do you believe stuff like that? The people
absolutely
show up out of nowhere and help you and vanish?
And I believe they will enter back into your life one day.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Somehow
the Lord works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
And that's the most I can say. He works in mysterious ways, but he's there. He's there to help us. He's there to help us with grieving. He's there to help us with everything, every part of your world that you allow him to.
Yeah. Including your business life, because let's talk about your life. You dropped off school to start the work that you love, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep. And I dropped out of school in 9th grade, and but I come from a family of 7 boys and 1 girl, one daughter or sister, and went to work. But our father, he taught us, you know, morals and the ethics, and of course God. Every Sunday we were troopers going to church, you know. And
you were raised Catholic?
I was raised Catholic, and you know, of course, you go through your baptism, and then you go to where you're what's the word?
Communion, all the sacraments.
The communion, all the sacraments, and then you're confirmed. And of course, we went through all that. All of us did, and our parents were very good about that, which I thank them very much. Because without the Lord, I don't know where I would be in life. I mean, he's...
And now you continue practice through Christian Evangelical Church, that's correct?
Correct.
Okay. In your family, what kind of values were, for example, your father educated you?
Well, he taught us to work hard because, you only get out of life exactly what you put into it.
Okay.
Don't expect anything more. Don't expect anything less. You get out of life what you put in it. So if you work hard, you can expect to prosper.
Okay.
And if you don't work hard, then you expect that you're going to go the other way.
Okay. How about the attitude? What kind of attitude should a man have to be successful in life?
I would say that the attitude to have is a good one where you know that at the end of the tunnel you're going to be prosperous. And I've proven that with basically a 9th grade education. I had a very prosperous company. I continue to move on with Deer Haven Acres and other investments and stuff like that, and it's proven its point. And most of all, having the Lord involved has gotten me where I'm at.
Do you still believe that other people practicing the same values could be also prosperous?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
100%.
Is prosperity like a given from the Lord that you can... Because many people... Okay, my point is this. Many people just believe that if you are religious or spiritual, you have to live a poor life to be, let's say, to go to heaven, okay? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I can tell you, money's not going to get you to heaven. But your soul, your heart, and your beliefs in the Lord will get you to heaven, with or without money. While you're on this earth, if you have enough money to get by, you can be as happy as the richest person in the world. So money doesn't buy you love or happiness or anything like that. It just makes things a little calmer mentally.
Mentally.
Yeah.
More comfortable?
You're comfortable.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Would you say, because there is saying money is the root of all evil, but actually the phrase from the Bible is the love of money. So when I observe you and people that work for you, they're very happy people, and they love you as a boss, and they treat you as a friend. So you pay them well, you reward them for their service, and they love to work for you. So this is a win-win situation.
Absolutely. And I'm like, again, I'll say I would only be where I'm at today with the people that surrounded me. I'm only as good as the people that surround me. Okay? And for that, I reward them well.
And you remind me of Henry Ford when he was called by the Chicago magazine, Chicago Tribune, back in 1920s or 30s. It was that he was an ignorant man incapable of thought. And he sued actually Chicago magazine for $1 million back then because he thought it was an insult. And he went to court, and they asked him all of these complex questions that, of course, no one, even with higher degrees, knew the answer of. And Henry Ford said basically this: I have a row of buttons on my desk in my office, and whatever information I need, I just press the button, and the person who has capability and knowledge about this particular subject comes in and helps me out. So why should I clutter my mind learning all the worthless information, and this would take away from my ability to create and invest and grow my business? Creating an 8-cylinder internal combustion engine was not a piece of cake back then, but he did it. And he did it because, just like you, he dropped off the regular school education and started working as a mechanic. So that's how he learned to build engines. And that's how you can also follow your passion and follow your dream. We don't say that education is bad, right? Because with your doctor, you wouldn't trust a doctor who had no school, right?
Correct.
Correct.
Yes, yeah.
But this must be your passion. This must follow your passion.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when you have a passion, it's not like going to work either. Because throughout that 43 years that I was in business, I didn't feel like I was at work one day.
See?
Because I was a part. And they were a part. And we were a team. And there's no I in team.
Mm-hmm.
So I made it where both first and second shift, because we worked 12-hour shifts, where I would be on part of both, or all of first and half of second, because it was my job to bring out the best in the people that were there, so that they could prosper as well as first shift could.
Mm-hmm.
So,
do you believe that everything in life happens for a reason? Or do you believe that it's just coincidence?
it's for a reason.
Everything's for a reason.
I believe it is.
I heard that even if you're stuck in traffic, there is someone or something that benefits seeing you being in traffic. That you can, even with a smile or being in this place or another, you can influence or inspire other people. You don't have to do big, great things, right? You just
Exactly. Be yourself, and be what's in your soul and your belly, and people will gravitate towards you.
You once told me
They
that.
know they're good. You can tell.
Yes.
I don't know if they call it the sixth sense or whatever. The Lord has gifted me with the gift of gab, but it's not baloney. So when I do talk with individuals and this and that, they ask, "How did you get this?" And I said, "I work hard." And but it's all comes from sharing the love for my people to all prosper. I made sure everyone that worked for me was as close to equal as me as possible.
So if everybody's around you prosper, you prosper as well.
Absolutely.
And I ask you the same question, actually. You were walking me through this beautiful lounge, and I asked you, how did you prosper? How did you, because I once would like to also enjoy life like that. And you said also something, you said number one, work hard, and number two is something about the energy, that since you were 6 years old, you knew how to make money.
Yeah, back in the day, there's always a way. In America, there's always a way. Whether if it's in the wintertime, you can go shovel driveways. You could go Christmas caroling. You could rake lawns. You could mow lawns. You could deliver newspapers. I mean, there was always a means or work on a farm, for that matter. There was always a means of making money, and there's still that same thing out there if you reach out for it.
Do you think America has changed over the years? How do you remember America being a kid and right now?
Well, the way I was brought up is, keep your hands out of your pocket and walk fast. And if you want something out of life, you go get it. Okay? Today, sadly, I think there's too much electronic stuff out there for the children. And unfortunately, we spoil our children. I've got to say, I did it myself. So I completely understand. I can point a finger at anybody. But at the end of the day, if we're going from from when I was a child, I was born in 1962, to, having children in the 80s, the morals and the ethics were much harder to teach, and even God was very hard. I brought my children right up until they were like 10, 11 years old every Sunday to church, okay? And then it got to a point where we're not going,
Rebellious. Yeah.
It is. And what a terrible thing that we're losing Christianity to the world. I'd love to, like yourself, I ask you, please come to church one time.
Yeah.
And, then I know I've done something for the Lord to bring someone to his home. Now, out of that, I probably asked 30 people, and now I've gotten 5 couples to go. All 5 couples now come, and that fulfills me, but it also shows the difficulty of getting somebody to actually take that step to go to church. Give 1 hour to the Lord once a week. He's there for you every time you need him.
Yeah.
And people don't want to give 1 hour per week to cherish him.
And what would you say the value of conservative way is? Like, okay, we were taught God number one, your country, and then it's you. Now it's all kind of like messed up. Well, here in the countryside, it's maybe still this spirit of conservative way is here, but I'm back in the city. I'm from Chicago, and there is, I believe there is no hard ethics. There is no one keeps this promises. They it's like do whatever you want and don't expect anything. I don't know how to even define it.
And if we look at it, the Lord died for us. It was only 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not that long ago.
In the cosmic time, it's like 2 days, because 1,000 comes like 1 day in the cosmic time.
Right. And basically, our country and their representatives, they're taking away, Lord. We're not allowed to say the Pledge of Allegiance because it has God in it. At school, when I grew up, we said Pledge of Allegiance first thing, every day. And they're taking away the morals and ethics, which is helping our children grow up the way they are, which is not I don't want to say a terrible thing because I only wish them well. But when you take God out of things, you've taken a lot.
Or everything.
More than everything. Yes.
Taking out of everything. Let's come back for a second. I just missed this question. When you had this accident and you recall yourself, can you say that my life prior to accident was different than it is now? How do you look at life after you just touched the doorway of death?
I'm more humbled. Actually, when they had woke me up, of course I had a tube down my throat, things going down a nose, feeding me through the nose and stuff like that. And they told me about it. And again, there was no fear. My only fear was, how am I going to leave this world? Okay? So my confidence in the Lord was there, I feel.
Did you feel the presence of the Lord?
I absolutely did. Absolutely. And, in every waking moment, when I wasn't, they don't let you sleep in a hospital. So about every waking moment, I would pray myself to sleep and begging him to save me. And indeed he did.
Beautiful story. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the place that we are currently sitting on. This was your dream once, and you've built it with your father, I remember, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
My father and I were best of friends.
Okay.
And
how important is relation between father and son?
if you can have the relationship that I had with my father, there's nothing better in the world. I mean, it's absolutely a blessing. You know, we were absolutely the best of friends. And when he passed away, it was the saddest day of my life. It took me a long time to get over it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not over it yet, but the Lord has allowed me to have conversation with my father. So he still walks me through.
In the spirit.
In times of trouble,
Yeah.
in spirit.
Yeah.
Yes. So I have dreams about him, and it was hard at first to allow him to come inside me. Mm-hmm. But now it's like almost a daily or a weekly thing mm-hmm. that we can talk. And he puts me through this path, and unbelievably, it's always the right path. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like wisdom.
Yeah. Okay.
But as far as how I started this, when I was, like I said, I started work at 5-6 years old on a farm, and you know, for $1 a week, you know. Mm-hmm. But I had a dream, and one of which started when I was very young, probably 11, 12 years old. We came upon a deer in early spring mm-hmm. that had been hit by a car, mm-hmm. and inadvertently the mother had died, and it had one baby that was hanging out of her, and another baby that was on the side of the road.
Just freshly
born.
Yeah.
Yes. It had to happen within hours of me finding it. Mm-hmm. And I picked up that deer and I took it home, and we nursed it, and it grew to be 3 years old. We never put it in a pen, but we just, after that, my love of deer it started my dream. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there was a little beach store down the road from us that sold candy. Mm-hmm. And of course, if you make $1, you're going to go spend $1. Where do you spend it? At the candy store.
Yeah.
And in my lodge, you'll see that there's an owl hanging there. Mm-hmm. And that's probably from about mid-20s, maybe 30s. Mm-hmm. But I worked for that guy. He was a farmer as well. I worked for him for 4 summers to get that owl. Because one day I had this dream, or I guess I gotta call it a dream because it was a dream. Mm-hmm. And you work hard for your dreams.
And this dream,
when you get out of life, what you put into it again.
Yeah. And this dream pulled you forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's in there, and it's proof that you can reach your dreams.
Yeah. Amazing story. And this whole place is also part of the dream. This is actually part of 237 acres?
Yep. And I raise white-tailed deer. We will have this year again elk, and we have bison. And I have a few goats out here.
Okay. And every Memorial Weekend, there's a special event going on.
Yes, that's the magical weekend where most all the Bambi deer are born, and they come up right behind the garage. They come up out of the woods and come up front to the pond, which is behind the lodge, and you actually get to witness them having the babies, and towards the end of the weekend, you can go up and you can pick them up. It's absolutely magical and spiritual, and
Wow.
it's in both.
So they are that domestic, so you can touch them and feel them. They don't run away.
Well, it's not that they're not domesticated, but what they are is let's put it this way. I would have 100 children if they listened as good as the mom deer tell them to. No, the mom will put them in one spot, and they will not move for like the first 7 to 10 days.
Okay.
Okay, so that will allow you can come and pick them up, and then you set them back down.
Okay.
And it's, I call it magical because I don't think there's another word for it.
Yeah. And it's interesting because we just did several months ago a show from Everglades, Miami, where you can touch a live alligator, and here you can touch a live deer.
Yep,
Right?
absolutely.
Absolutely. What other attractions one can have one coming here? Hunting, maybe fishing?
Yeah, we have hunting for the bucks because we have to have some kind of herd control. And I keep the pond stocked with fish so that when the kids go fishing, daddies are busy taking the hooks out of the fish.
So they always catch something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
About every cast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And of course, then we got the swimming pool, we've got horseshoes, volleyball.
Volleyball. And we got this incredible energy. What is it? Are you native in Wisconsin or are you from somewhere else?
No, I grew up in Pewaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And my neighbor next door, Mark Burkhan, he was my neighbor in Pewaukee. He brought me up here. I'd been hunting for years, and this farm came up for sale, and I purchased it back in '92.
92.
Yeah.
And you've built actually this launch in what year?
Well, we dug the hole in November of 2000 and moved furniture in October of 2004.
Wow. It took a while, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a solid log cabin. Yeah.
Yeah.
With 7 bedrooms,
7 bedrooms, 4 baths.
4 baths. And who can come to this place?
Everybody's welcome.
Everybody's welcome.
Yeah.
Not only movie stars?
We have some of those, too. I can't even tell you.
Okay.
But Brett Favre has been here on several occasions. There's others that I can't even mention,
Okay.
But
Politicians? No?
not so much.
Not so
Not
much.
so much.
They like to hang out in the city over there. Right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, amazing place. One last question I wanted to ask you because I fall in love with Wisconsin too, and there is something about crossing the Wisconsin border that makes you feel different than other states. Unlike Illinois, Indiana, or even Michigan, if we're talking about this area here, there's something about those pine trees and oak trees. There's something about the vibe of Wisconsin. What would you say? What is the secret of Wisconsin that draws people in?
I really think that it's a calm state. Once you get out of Milwaukee and out of the bigger cities, and you get up north, it's like you go into a lower gear, and it puts people at ease.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of crime. I mean, literally none. Of course, I'm sure there's drugs everywhere, but it's not that you hear about it every day.
How is it that in Chicago that having a gun is prohibited strictly? We have more deaths than in all states in America that everybody carries a gun, including Wisconsin. Everybody has 2 or 3 guns. In Wisconsin, there's not people shooting each other.
Well, guns don't kill. People kill.
Let's hear from our sponsors, thanks to whom we have this show made possible. Joanna Pranisa from Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation is helping to finance real estate in Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana, Florida. She helped many people to get loans. It was over 1,000 clients already. There is no difficult or complicated situation for them. Pranitsa and her entire team will do their best to create the most possible resolution. More information about real estate loans, you can just call the number on your screen, 708-906-7177. Hunter's Restaurant is inviting each and every one of you from Thursday to Sunday for delicious Polish dinner. It's one unique restaurant in Chicago. From Thursday, jazz night, delicious food, and great parties. If you would like to taste delicious, crispy, clean water in your home, Pro Ecolife is the way. Install today multi-level system Pro Ecolife filters in your home to get crystal clear water. There is a huge problem in Chicagoland area with lead and other contaminants that should not be in your water right now. If you don't want to worry about your taxes, call Catcher and Associates in this tax season. Great prices and knowledge that exceeds regular CPA. Richard Catcher also has a financial advisor license, so can help you with your retirement, IRS rollovers, etc. Call now and talk to Richard Catcher. Guns don't kill, people do.
That is correct. The guns, if you lay it there, how can it kill somebody? You put it in your hand, now you're the person pulling the trigger.
So just like every other tool, you can use a hammer to nail a board down, or you can use a hammer to hurt someone.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And same thing with tools.
Education needs to be done. And there's a lot of copycat, whether it's who would go into a school and kill young children, first, second graders.
Yeah.
Why? Mm-hmm. And it just continues to happen. I don't know if it's because of our news or I almost think it is the way that it's portrayed, because they never let it go. Okay, which I don't believe it should be let go. Don't get me wrong, because it's a tragedy. Okay, but when something happens to this individual, you can sweep it under the carpet and you never hear anything more. And then it happens to another individual, and it stays in the news for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Why there is so much hate in the news? So we are programmed to hate each other?
That's really the way it's going. And that's enhancing what's going on with our younger generation and our world, to be honest.
Yeah. Because basically there's strict law to prohibit guns. It's just like, okay, let's take away toys from the kids so they don't play. They will find something else to play with, right?
Well, exactly. And, you're taking away the guns, you would only be taking them away from the good people that don't have the mentality of going out and shooting somebody. Because there will always be guns available to the people that want to use that for bad.
They'll find a way.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're available.
So it starts in your mindset.
Exactly.
We should focus on our mindset, of our in-core values, build our spirit, and then we
bring back the Lord and bring back morals and ethics, and I believe our problems will go back to the 70s when you didn't hear. I felt bad when I heard that somebody got hurt or shot on TV. You know, when I brushed my teeth in the morning, I felt terrible. Somebody got hurt. Somebody got killed. Mm-hmm. Now it's like we're programmed where it goes in one ear, right out the other, and you don't think about it again. Mm-hmm. But now there's a loss of life. There's a lot being lost from what the Lord give us.
Bob, what would you say happiness means to you? Is it a state of mind, state of your body, state of your spirit? How do you define happiness yourself?
That's a tough question.
Mm-hmm. So how one becomes happy? What should you do to be happy?
To be happy, really, is to follow in the Lord's steps. You know, that's where I find my most happiness.
Mm-hmm. So it's not only follow the Lord so you can later go to heaven. It's follow the Lord so you can be happy now.
You want to be happy here. We're only here for a short time.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right in what you say.
What is your one advice that you would give to someone who's in their 20s, they're just starting life and like to prosper, be happy, be successful, follow their passion and achieve their dreams? What would you say to them?
Please reach out to the Lord, because He will lead you in the right direction. Because He's our Savior.
That's it?
That really is it.
Yeah.
All in a nutshell. That is where it comes from.
Yeah.
And I've never forgotten Him, and I never will.
Because that's what led you to the place you are here.
That is correct.
Yeah. Amazing. How would you invite, in your own words, to this place? It's an amazing place, but people can't really see everything on camera. You can kind of get a glimpse of it, but you have to really feel it, right?
Yeah, there's a thing that I see by the people coming here.
What they say, yeah, after they come here.
And I get to feel them. Mm-hmm. Okay, not only by their voice, but by their actions. And I want to say it's kind of like a shock and awe of Deer Haven. Mm-hmm. It's a special, special place. Yeah. And some people maybe overdrink. Some people just maybe over happy. You know, it's kind of hard to say, but there is what I would call like a shock and awe of being here. Once you walk in the doors, it starts there, and it'll take you days to figure out what's all on the walls, and hanging, and things that I started saving from when I was 6 years old.
Wow. Yeah. Amazing story, Bob. I would like to congratulate you on this beautiful place, and thank you very much for this interview. It was absolutely a pleasure.
God bless you.
Yeah, God bless you too, Bob. Thank you very much. And if you did like this show, please like and subscribe. Share it with your friends, family. Please do so, because it helps us to reach more people and enlighten them. I just recently learned that the first step to enlightenment is just to light up. So if you find it interesting or you find it funny, you may share it to others, because this is what it's all about. It's about sharing. Sharing is caring. So if you care about good stuff, if you care about good information, share this information with others. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. We'll be more than happy to respond. This is your host, Red Karczmaczyk, and these are Path of Life podcasts. Till next time.